Welcome everyone. This video is an introduction to JavaScript. First let's define JavaScript. JavaScript is a programming language which provides interactivity on a web page. I would like to think of JavaScript as a referee that is never tired. I also like to apologize to about what the screen looks like. I'm trying to simulate the use of a PC with a phone, so please bear with me. So we'll talk about three different types of data in JavaScript. We'll only cover three today. That is strings. First of all, a comment in JavaScript starts with two forward slashes. We all know comments don't show on the web page, so we have strings, we have boolean, and we have number. We always write string data in quotes. Boolean values are usually true or false, and number are just numbers. The next method we'll be learning in JavaScript is something called console log. So you type console.log, parentheses, and I'll just put quotes in there, single quote for strings there, and say Henry. Then I'll do the same without single quotes and put the number 4, and then do the same thing again and put the boolean value true. I just opened the console and we can see the three data: Henry, 4, and true. Henry a string, 4 a number, and true a boolean value. Next thing we'll learn is something called type of. Type of will return whatever type of data the next thing in the parentheses is. For example, Henry will return string, 4 would return number, and true would return a boolean. To return boolean. So let's check in the console and see what it says. As we can probably see in the console, Henry says string, 4 says number, and true says boolean. And I believe we've learned a few types of data in JavaScript. So the next thing we'll learn now is alert. First of all, I'll clear out everything we have here. So speaking of alert is like some kind of pop-up we send to the console. And whenever you want to send anything like this to the console, remember that if you put it in strings, it is a string. Even if it is a number, as far as you put it in quotes, it is a string. For example, if I put that 4 in quotes, it is a string. So if we say 4 plus 4, it won't add it as 8, but instead it will add 4 and 4, which is 4, and it looks like 44. So I'm going to say hello world, because of course no JavaScript tutorial is complete without this section of the code. So this is what it looks like, this pop-up and then hello world, and then you just click OK. There is no means to press cancel or anything. It is an alert. It is to inform you of something. So the next thing we'll do is confirm. Is just like, it just brings up a confirm box. You either click OK or cancel. But first of all, let's comment out what we already have there. So I'll teach you about multiple line comments. That the first one we did is a single line comment in JavaScript. So I'll remove the first comment, and then I'll teach us how to do a multiple line comment. So you do /* where you want to start it, and then go to wherever you want to end it, and also use a star and /. Also remember to always put a semicolon after your JavaScript, although sometimes it runs without the semicolon, but it is important. So now I'll do a confirm and then put it in quotes and say, are you ready to learn JavaScript? You should put it in quotes. If you don't, it actually won't work at all, because it is a string. Every string should be in quotes. But let's see without the quotes and see what it says. Can you see? It says syntax error. Okay, so the problem is simply because there is no string, and then you are starting to have errors already because you don't have quotes. That's what JavaScript is like. A single quote or semicolon can mess up your whole day. So we just highlight it and put it in quotes. And now we preview. Okay, confirm is not denied. Oh, I tapped that as a M. Let's correct it to a N. There we have it. CONFIRM, confirm. Okay, so let's continue. Check the web page and see what it looks like now. Can you see it says, are you ready to learn JavaScript? You press OK, you press cancel. Then when you press cancel, it returns false. When you press OK, it returns true. Although this doesn't look like anything yet, but we can use the user response to build up on something later in the future. The next thing I'll do is try to comment everything on the web page now out. So I'm just simply going to remove the last part of that one, of that multi-line comment first, and then put it at the very last one here, which means everything will be commented out. So I'm just going to type in the closing part of it, and it just comments everything there out. So the next thing we'll learn is a prompt. A prompt asks a question, allows user to actually type in there. So what is your name, and let's view it on the web page, and then you just enter whatever your name is, and you can click OK or cancel, similar to that of a confirm box. Next thing we'll learn are variables in JavaScript. Variables in JavaScript, they let you store any type of data. They also let you define them. You name them, you store basically anything, a prompt, an alert, a confirm, as far as what I've taught you goes. Okay, so the next thing I'll do now is the first keyword we can use is const. Const is usually used to define something you think would not change on the web page. For example, your name, of course it won't change, so you can just say const name is equal to Henry, the string Henry. But for now, I'm going to say const my number is equal to 4. And in JavaScript, we don't use lowercase or uppercase. We actually use something called camel case. The first word will start with a small letter, while the other words in there, if it has more than one word, will start with a capital letter. So my M as a small letter, Y N as a capital letter. So if we add my number 1 as N as a capital letter, O N E would also have a capital letter. So my number 1 is equal to 1. And we don't need to put quotes around the 1 because it is actually a number and not a string. So I'm trying to reassign a value for my number and say my number is equal to 2. But I told you that it must be constant, right? So now we'll try to view the web page and see what it says. I keep saying web page, I meant console. Look at it, say assignment to constant variable. So that's an error. You cannot reassign a value to a constant variable. Constant variable is constant, you cannot change it. But if it were let, I can say let my second number equal to 15, then I can reassign it and maybe say it is 40, and it would not have any problem reassigning it, because for let, you are telling it, okay, just be like this for now. I can change you if I want to next time. Okay, so let's say my second number is equal to 40, and view the console and see what it says. But before viewing the console, how do we make sure that this thing has actually changed? So I'll just console log the value of my second number before we changed it and after we have changed it. So we're supposed to say console.log my second number before the change, that's after the declaration. Then again we'll say we'll console log my second number after the change. So I'll simply copy the console log and paste it there. Okay, so let's check what it says on the console now. Oh, we have an error, unidentified tag. Oh, we didn't put a dot in between console and log, and that's our issue. So let's just put a dot, and there we have the first one and also the second one. So let's view the let's check the console now and see what it says there. So at first it was 15, but when we changed it, it actually changed and became 40. But if it were const, it would not change. So const, my number would always be 1. You cannot change it. But when we say let it to change, so you can use something like this for a score in a game. So if we add that game, it can keep increasing by 1 and 1. But if it were const, it would not increase. So you can use const for something like your name, which you know would not change. So the reason we use const is to avoid changing of anything. So that's what const is for, and let is for things that you want to change dynamically later in the future. Also, there's another way of changing this a variable already defined with let. Let's say you can just say my second number is equal to my second number again, then just say +2. That means you're adding 2 to the number, which means it becomes 17. So I'll use a more relatable term. I'll use a better name, a more descriptive name. So I'll say age there and change everything else to age, because we are not console logging. Remember, we have said let age equal to that, so everything else has to be age. Now that it all says age, we can just view the console, but you can, if you look, you can take a snapshot of this or try to think through it. So first we declare the age 15, and then say console.log or console log the age. Then now we say after 2 years, we say the person's age is age plus 2, and then we'll console log the age again. That means first the person was 15 and now the person is 17. So you can use addition or subtraction to actually change the name, to actually change a variable, a number, of course. But this thing is now so common in JavaScript. I mean additions, that sometimes there is sometimes when you want to change names like this, you can use a simple shortcut and just say, instead of saying age is equal to age plus 2, you can just say age plus equal to 2. Automatically they will know that you want age to now be equal to age plus 2. But if you want to increase age by 1, you can just say age plus plus, and it increases by 1 because plus 1 is too common. Plus equal to 1 is too common, probably because of scores and everything. Can you see? Plus equal to 2, it works the same way. It doesn't affect anything. So when you say minus minus, it removes 1. When you say minus equal to 2, to remove 2. When you say divided by equal to, multiply by equal to. So that's the way it works. But we'll learn all of those later when we start maths. So we already know that, I already told you that const and let, that's variables, can store a lot more than just those type of data. You can use it to store maybe a prompt, like I told you, maybe an alert, a confirm box. So I'll just say a prompt. Let name equal to a prompt. That's what is your name. Then it just shows up. Although I've already put a prompt there, but we already named it something. The next thing I'll do is console.log the value of the name. It would not be needing strings, I mean quotes, anymore, because it is not a string, it is a variable. So you just type the variable in between the brackets. Let's check the console and see what it says. So first thing the console says is, what's your name? So I'll just enter my name. There, that's my name. Then I click OK, and it actually says Henry in the console. It does not say what is your name or anything. It actually says Henry in the console because I console logged my name, which is Henry. So imagine we say hello, and then we add a plus name. Hello as a string, it has to be in quotes because hello is a string, and then plus name, and we can even add an exclamation mark at the end and just say plus. That's how strings work. When you add strings together, they show in front of each other. They don't add like numbers. So plus exclamation mark, also in quotes. But name does not have to be in quotes, because if it is in quotes, it will actually type the word name. But name is not in quotes because it is a variable. So adding values like this is what we call concatenation. And we also have something else called interpolation, which I actually very much prefer. Okay, let's enter a name, whatever, and can you see hello, and it even says whatever I entered there, and also the exclamation mark. So the next thing I'll teach is interpolation. So I would like to use another console.log to use for interpolation. But the first thing I want to do is, instead of console logging hello plus name immediately, how about we just put that data into a variable. Let's make proper use of variable. I'll put it into a variable called greeting. Although I already typed greeting there, then I'll create a variable named greeting. So I'll just say let greeting equal to, then I'll paste whatever I cut from the middle there. So when you still console log that, it will still work because it's kind of like a reference to greeting. So hello, the last one is not complete. The the last quote is not there yet. Okay, I think it should work properly now. Yeah, so the last quote is actually there. Can you see hello plus name is in a variable called greeting. Then we're console logging the greeting. But right now I would like to change greeting, so it will be interpolation instead of concatenation this time. Concatenation uses backticks, so instead of using strings 2 or 3 times, just use one backtick there. Okay, but I'm going to remove all of that and explain it properly from the beginning. So you put a backtick there, 2 backticks of course, then it is like a string actually. You say hello, and then but when you want to take the value of anything, we have to use the $sign and curly brackets. So two curly brackets, and you type the name of whatever you want to take the value in between. That's name. You want to take the value of name, so hello name, that should be whatever you input there, and then an exclamation mark. So when you view the web page, when you go to the console, of course, and click and enter your name, I mean, it would input your name into that place where we'll put name, and this is called interpolation. We use backticks for interpolation. So you can just enter your name, and we call them template literals. That's what they are called. So hello Henry. Now it doesn't matter how you do it, it does matters as far as you achieve the goal. So I'm going to paste in our concatenation method, but I'll comment everything out so that it doesn't work as code on the web page, and then we'll be using this everything of length from alerts to prompt to confirm. We're going to use it to create a simple, it is very basic, I mean, it's not much, a simple profile project. So get ready. So the first thing I'll do is clear this whole page out and then put a prompt that says let name is equal to a prompt. What is your name? So I'm literally going to clear everything except line 1. So like I said, the first thing we did was name a variable name that says a prompt, what is your name? The next one I'll do is another variable that says age. Let age equal to how old are you? The next one I will say is another prompt that says let student status is equal to another prompt that says are you a student? Next now I'll add is another variable that will say let age in 5 years equal to age plus 5. We'll probably run into an error. And the reason is because a prompt converts every data to strings, which means whatever you enter there, let's say 5, would be a string by then. And then when it's trying to add 5 to it, it would add it as a string, two different strings, and say 5 plus 5, and it says 5 instead of 10. So instead of using let, I used const because that was probably not change. Even name and student status will probably not change too. But let's leave it like that. Now we're about to display the result, and we'll be using interpolation, not concatenation. So I'll say constant result equal to, I'll just put some oh, that's an error. Let's just go to the next line. So I'll just put a back string, yeah, a backtick, I mean, a backtick, and template literals. That's what we call them. They are template literals. So I'm just going to say name, then put a colon, and then put the value of name in there. I'm sure we're familiar with this kind of thing where we said hello, then name. So this would say name and then actually put the person's name in there, if you know what I'm saying. Then we say age and then still put the value of age, you know. Now there's something called an escape character. You use a backward slash and an n. That will actually jump to the next line. It makes it jump to the next line. So we're going to say age and also put a curly bracket again and put age there. That's to take the value of whatever you input into age, if you get me. Then you say student status. So student status is equal to, so you just say student, and obviously person is going to enter yes or no. Then in the backticks, oh sorry, we should go to the next line again. So you can say I didn't put any space in between the age and student. That's because we actually don't need to put any space, because that escape character will jump to the next line. So why should there be any space anyways? So then we'll put student status inside the curly brackets, because we're trying to get the value of student status. The person is probably going to say yes or no, because I said are you a student? So if you enter yes, it will put yes in front there, and if you enter no, it will put no in front there. To type whatever, it will put whatever the person typed there. So I'm going to put another enter sign and say in 5 years, you will be, then I'll put the value of age in 5 years. So another $sign, then curly brackets, and type in age in 5 years, because by that time the person's age will have increased by 5 and we have added 5 there. So the next thing we'll now do is put this thing in an alert. Just type alert and then put a result inside of the alert. So alert, then result. Well, here's an issue. I mistakenly removed the second backtick, the closing backtick, while I was pressing the cancel button. So we're going to have to put the backtick again. Although I typed something else in there. Here is your profile. Then go to the next line again. So here is your profile will be there first before name. So now let's do the backticks properly before we open it, so we don't have an error. Okay, so I'm going to copy everything. I'm going to highlight everything, then put a backtick at the front and at the back. I can just highlight everything and press backtick. It will just automatically put a backtick there. But if you don't put backticks, it won't work properly. And they are not quotes, they are backticks. So that's a backtick. Except that the semicolon is not supposed to be inside but outside of the backtick. Now we should view the console and see what it says. I'm ready to run into that error about the age. Okay, it says, what's your name? Well, I'm going to enter my name. Okay, how old are you? You should enter that too. I'll just say 4. Okay, now that I'm 4 years old. Then are you a student? I'll say yes. Or type it there. Well, doesn't matter. So it says, here's your profile name, Henry, age 4, student Isa. Okay, in 5 years, that's breaking. I'll check the issue. And then it says you will be 45. And that's the issue. That's not actually 45, it's pronounced 45, although it totally looks like 45. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove that line break between 5 and years. Just press it back. I mistakenly pressed enter instead of space bar there, I guess. So then in that prompt that says how old are you, before it gets transferred to age, before it gets transferred to age in 5 years, we are going to remove it. Remember I said that it converts everything into every prompt converts everything into string, but now I want to convert it not into string but into number. So you use parse integer. Integer means number, of course, so that when you send it to age there, it would be a number and not a string, if you understand. So if you want to work with numbers, to convert string to numbers, just use parse integer. Parse int, PARSE, capital letter I, then small letter N and C. So this should be it. So let's view the web page now and see. What's your name? You should enter that. I don't know. Okay. How old are you? Let's see. I'm going to enter that also. Then, are you a student? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So student, yeah, in 5 years you'll be 9. I don't know. So this is actually working properly. You can also test it in your own ways. This will be the end of the class. We talked about alerts, we talked about const, let, confirm, prompt, and a lot more. We talked about concatenation, we talked about interpolation. So just know that it is about progress and not perfection. No one gets it at once. So you should practice more on this. You should try to learn more about it. There is also an assignment for you. You can try to use concatenation to do this instead of interpolation.